From the cheap seats down under, I was amazed to see lifetime Republican Benedict Arnold Schwarzenegger recently come out and not only disavow both parties, but in full traitor mode back crooked Kamala in one of the worst and misplaced political endorsements in recent memory. So let's talk about ego, the kind that makes grown men act like attention-starved teenagers with daddy issues, and more specifically, what drives a man to risk everything just to prove a point. Back in 1980, Arnold Schwarzenegger pulled what might have been the biggest middle finger in bodybuilding history, strutting onto the Olympia stage to snatch a seventh title that nobody thought he earned nor deserved. And why? Because a live interview with Frank Zane had both the gall and the balls to remind him about getting his ass handed to him in 1968. And that's it. That was the fucking trigger. One comment about a loss from 12 years ago, and Arnold went full scorched earth like a jilted ex-girlfriend with access to the nuclear codes. Now this wasn't just about legacy or proving anything to anyone. This was Arnold's wounded pride going thermonuclear over a throwaway zinger that scratched his ego. This was Arnold's patented blend of psychological warfare mixed with a dash of retroactive salt and served together with all the petty contempt of a high school mean girl. And of course, Arnold being Arnold, he wasn't just content with winning, he needed to make everyone else feel like shit while doing so. Fast forward 40 years and we're watching the same ego-driven shitshow play out with Trump, just with higher stakes and worse hair. The parallels between the two are enough to make you want to replace your protein shake with something alcoholic, so buckle up. Now picture two grown-ass men with personality disorders, still trying to win daddy's approval from the grave. One had a father who was basically a walking wallet with impossibly high standards. The other was a Nazi hardass who thought raising kids meant treating them like boot camp rejects. Fred Trump was that special kind of prick who turned parenting into a business transaction. Every moment of approval had to be earned through another deal, another headline, another gold toilet installed. It's no wonder that Junior turned into a human peacock, strutting around Manhattan trying to parlay Daddy's millions into his own personal game of Monopoly, just to prove he wasn't a loser. And then you've got Arnold, who converted himself from an Austrian farm boy with a neck thicker than his accent into American royalty. His father Gustav ran his household like a miniature Third Reich, with a severity that made military school look like a Montessori program. This left young Arnold with the kind of daddy issues that could only be solved by becoming the world's most famous bodybuilder, Hollywood's biggest action star, and eventually the fucking governor of California. Both men built empires on pure bullshit while convincing everyone else it was gold. They even shared a TV spot for a while, with Arnold's catastrophic tenure presiding over a ratings disaster with all the poise of a bodybuilder attempting classical ballet. The resultant public bitch slapping from Trump wasn't just another Twitter feud between aging celebrities. It was the opening salvo on what would manifest into a dick-measuring contest of biblical proportions. The symmetry would be poetic if it weren't so psychologically revealing. Every conversation from either man becomes another greatest hits recitation, like they're scared their balls might shrink if they go 5 minutes without reminding everyone just how awesome they are. They're like those sad old fucks at the gym who won't shut up about how much they used to bench, except these two arseholes have been doing it their entire careers. Both of them need the constant approval and validation like a fish needs water. Without it, they might remember they're just two little insecure bitches playing dress-up as alpha males. It's a protracted self-promotion campaign that reads more like product rivalry, Pepsi versus Coke, if both brands were laced with testosterone and delusions of grandeur. In their worst moments, they're truly indistinguishable. Both respond to criticism with the same playground tactics. Immediate, personal counterattacks followed by grandiose displays of superiority designed to crush any appearance of weakness. While claiming to value straight talk, they surround themselves with sycophants creating echo chambers, affirming their worth, sidelining dissenters, and providing protective insulation against critique. And as for their approach to marriage, treat it like a fucking gym membership. Keep upgrading when the old one doesn't serve your purpose anymore. Arnold married into the Kennedy clan while leasing his dick out like a public phone booth. Trump swapped out wives like New York properties, starting with a Czech high-rise, moving to an American fixer-upper, before finally settling on a Slovenian penthouse suite. There's a bit of irony in Arnold's fall from Republican icon to progressive mouthpiece, the man who once embodied rugged individualism. The same guy who kept a secret kid hidden away longer than his Mr. Olympia reign, a living reminder of indiscretions swept under the gym mat while he played family man in the Kennedy compound. The same guy who preaches collective responsibility with the fervour of a convert who's forgotten his own scripture. His infamous "screw your freedoms" comment mid-pandemic felt like a betrayal of the principles that once made him so compelling. It's as if he's traded his Conan sword for a virtue-signalling shield. He swapped out the iconic one-liners for lectures on screwing our freedoms, with an irony thicker than that fake-ass accent he's still intent on overplaying. At least Trump's consistent in his bullshit. He's the same asshole he's always been, just with better production value and worse Twitter habits. While Arnold's out there trying to rebrand himself as some kind of progressive prophet, Trump's doubling down on being Trump, riding that America First train straight back to the White House. Whereas Arnold's outdated 90s soundbite machine keeps stuttering "I'll be back," Trump never actually fucking left. But the greatest fucking twist in this whole circus is that sacred little parchment known as the Constitution, cock-blocking Arnold from the one thing he can't bullshit his way into. Now he's forced to watch Trump, a guy who probably thinks that same Constitution is a weight loss program, not only grab the presidency once, but come back for seconds like it's an all-you-can-eat buffet at the Golden Corral. For Arnold, a man who conquered everything from bodybuilding to Hollywood to California politics, the presidency remains the one weight he can never lift, the one role he can never play, the one political victory he can never claim, all because of an accident of birth. It's a particularly galling American tragedy. The immigrant who actually built himself from nothing, who actually earned his millions, who actually governed the largest state in the Union, forced to watch a man born into wealth stumble backwards into the presidency, lose it, then claw his way back through sheer force of shameless audacity. The constitutional fine print Arnold fought against for years, keeping him from that coveted final rung of power, feels less like the founding fathers' wisdom and more like a cosmic joke played at his expense. The irony, of course, is that this constitutional barrier might be the only thing preserving whatever shred of dignity Arnold has left. He's spared from becoming the final form of what he despises, forced instead to watch his own worst qualities play out on the highest possible stage, performed by a man who shares his every character flaw, but none of his actual achievements. And for the real kicker, they're not just rivals, they're reflections. These two hate each other because they're looking into a mirror, and neither one can stand what they see. It's like watching two silverback gorillas with spray tans and ego problems try to out-chest thump each other. In Trump, Arnold sees the grandiosity he cultivated, stripped of any discipline. In Arnold, Trump sees a restraint he's never possessed. Each man's animosity, an unwitting admission of their shared DNA, a mirror they can't quite bear to look into. Their inability to recognize themselves in the other speaks to a broader truth about power and self-awareness. Sometimes the person you hate the most is the one who reminds you too much of yourself. The only honest thing about either of them is how much they actually despise each other, and in that mutual hatred we get the clearest picture of who they really are. Two sides of the same fucked up coin just spinning in different directions. So welcome once again to a masterclass in the American dream, where an Austrian bodybuilder and a real estate conman can teach us all about the thin line between ambition and delusion. Ain't democracy beautiful? Now I know this type of light-hearted content poking fun at two cultural heavyweights will ruffle some feathers, so I kind of want to end this with a disclaimer that as an Aussie, I don't have any dog in this particular political race. I don't come out for team sports like politics and never have. The reality is that none of these individuals gives a shit about us, the little guy, and at the end of the day, we're all just pawns in a bigger power game. The spectacle and global entertainment value has still been undeniably compelling, and I do enjoy the schadenfreude of watching this particular current administration fall flat on their face after 4 years of relentless lying, advocacy of utter degeneracy, and suppression of contrary thought and opinion. I really hope that Trump can rise to the occasion and take the world in a new direction, minus the inevitable sabotage I feel that's coming, and already manifested so far in a manufactured pandemic, 2 assassination attempts, a relentless legal system, a mainstream media, and an establishment of elites that couldn't take him down so far. But hey, as long as we can still get to the gym, eat our meat, and access our supplements without interference, I'm a grateful and happy man. Thanks for watching.